This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Get in here right now, and I mean it. Hi. Welcome. It's Bill Cody, Kelly Sutton, Charlie Mattos, Annie Nye, Jeff Roberts, Master Control at the Grand Ole Opry House, making it happen now all over the world on our Circle streaming platforms, or just watch at circlecountry.com from our Magnolia Lobby studio home, where changes are a-coming, and a special announcement will be made this hour. You get to be the first to know.
Yes.
Well, the second to know, because we knew first. We're going to tell you.
I wonder which one of us knew first. Probably you. Maybe.
I'm not really sure what the timeline was. But we're very excited about a new home for Coffee, Country, and Cody and WSM Radio each morning.
And I think we alluded to that a couple of times on here. So if you've been listening and paying attention, then you're probably like, yeah, I know what they're talking about. And if not, stay tuned. That's what we call a tease in the business.
We have a family of ducks who have taken up residence outside our studio.
We may have to bring them with us.
The
My
Magnolia
babies.
Courtyard. And
They're
you
my
got me in trouble yesterday because you and Annie were gone. You've been feeding the ducks.
Yep.
And the ducks have been coming to the door and doing what ducks do after they eat granola.
Well, okay, to be fair.
And
The
I got
ducks-
fussed at for feeding the ducks. And I said, I didn't feed the ducks, but I know who did.
The
so
girls
I
did it.
I ratted on you.
Great, thanks. The ducks were at the door before I fed them. They came to the door because they were hungry. And I saw them and
They
I
knew
was like,
you were an easy target. Apparently, the word is out in the wildlife community. Hey, that Kelly Sutton, she's a sucker.
you know, my deer come almost every night now.
Oh, I know.
They come almost every night, and they just wait for my little snacks. when
And
I
what is
come
it you
outside.
feed them? You have graham crackers?
Graham crackers.
Graham crackers, okay.
Yeah, deer like graham crackers.
Okay.
I can't help it. They're hungry. Sweet babies. Don't yell at me about that. All right, coming up, big announcement. We're going to tell you about that in entertainment headlines. Also, Old Dominion on CMA Music Fest. We've got Jordan Davis teaming up with Need to Breathe, which is very, very cool. That's a collab that I've wanted for a while. And Little Big Town and their greatest hits album. It's carefully curated. We'll tell you more about that.
Dani Rose will be here a little later on this hour. A couple of singles. Got It From My Mama, and also a thing called Good Morning, and it's Mourning. And in the last year, Got It From My Mama alone has amassed over 1 billion, like 1.3 billion TikTok views. So Dani Rose is here. Shelly Fairchild, who, you know the old line, a day late and a dollar short? Well, I don't know about the dollar short, but she's a day late. She was supposed to be here yesterday and then panicked.
Give her a mulligan.
And
Yeah, we'll give you a
She's
mulligan.
fine.
we had a slot and slid her right in there, one of the most talented people in this town.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Dani Rose just walked through the door, and in a
Yes.
matter of seconds, she and Kelly Sutton from Coffee, Country, and Cody are working on a major motion picture. I don't know what's
That's right.
going on over there. Maybe you'll clue me in later.
We have a lot of stuff.
Okay.
We got a lot to fit into a few segments. She's been busy. She's got a lot on her plate as well.
So
Yeah,
catch
but
us up on CMA Fest. What was it like? How'd it go?
Amazing. What a time. I can't believe I'm alive, everyone.
That's a perfect sentiment.
What were some of the cool fellow star encounters that you had?
As you know, a good girlfriend of mine, Dasha, has been blowing up recently.
Yeah.
So got to see her a lot, and that was a lot of fun. I had an opportunity to sing at the Bud Light and Billboard activation. It was like Bud Light Backyard. It was kind of an impromptu, so I was having my nice limerita, as one does at the Bud Light event, and then they said, hey, why don't you get up and play some songs for us? And I was like, really?
Yeah.
So that was a blast.
So you kind of went Blake Shelton there for a little while.
Yeah, I was Blake Shelton. I'm not like the normal country singers. I'm different. I can't
the cool
handle
country singer.
I can't handle the limerita before I get on stage.
Yes, Blake famously says of the Blake-arita that he will ingest one or two before he goes on. You know, I don't know how you guys think I sound, but I think I sound great. In my monitors right now, I sound great.
The more you drink, the better I sound. That's it.
I do say that too. Or the more I drink, the more I sound like Mariah Carey, 2010, the bad, when she messed up the anthem.
No.
It was bad.
So when you mentioned Dasha, do you guys go back to California? Because you're kind of you're bi-coastal, and it's California and Virginia, as I understand, right?
Well, I was bi-coastal, but now I live full-time here.
Okay.
I am from Virginia, but I recently moved everything over here. I was going back and and forth from here to California for a while, and then it just got to the point where I was with, some of my friends, and they were like, oh, how long do we have you for? You're going to miss my birthday. You're going to miss this, and so it just got to the point where I was like, I really need to be here full time and just be in the community.
So where were you in the two states in California? Were you in Los Angeles?
I was in Los Angeles, well, a little bit outside Los Angeles. The city kind of changed the past couple years, and I prefer to be kind of out in the country. So I was in Agora Hills, which is about 45 to 2 hours, depending on traffic, into the city.
Yeah. That's crazy. Every time that you had anything in town, how did you even plan for that? Was it just looking at Waze and trying to figure out how long it was going to take you to get there?
No, it was more like, oh, great, I'm going to talk to my mom because she'll never be quiet. Like, literally, she'll yap for 2 hours. And I was like, this is a perfect time to call my mother. You know? And that's
good.
how I did it every day.
Smart.
Yeah.
And then in Virginia, where were you?
Northern Virginia. So I went to Chantilly High School, and my parents now live in Vienna, but it was Fairfax County. Oh, wow. I went to Virginia Tech. But in between then, I actually lived in Tokyo, Japan, which is kind of crazy.
Wow. How long were you there?
I was there 4.5 years.
Really?
Yeah. I recently just went back. A friend of mine just got married. My middle school friend from Japan. He just got married in Kyoto. And it was pretty insane.
So what took your family there? Was your father military?
My dad is a chemical patent attorney. And so they had an office in Tokyo, and there was an opening. And when I was in 5th grade, very excited, very bushy-eyed, bright. I was like bright-tailed. I think that's the other way around.
Yeah.
But I was a very excited 5th grader. I was going to be the crossing guard. It was going to go on my resume. I was just going to get all the things. I was on soccer select, and my dad said, well, everyone, we're moving to Japan. And I was like, you are taking these opportunities away from me.
You are ruining my life.
You're ruining my
Dad.
life. Like any 5th grader.
Well, you know what's funny is Erin Cooper, who's afternoons here on air with Erin, and was our studio director for a time. She's from Vienna, Virginia.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, Fairfax County. Yeah. So did you learn any Japanese in 4 years?
Tokidoki.
Oh.
Sure did.
Okay.
That's amazing, though. I can't imagine being a 5th grader and being pulled from what you know and being placed there, but what an amazing time to have 4 years to just soak all of that up, not only the language, but the culture and the people.
It was pretty incredible. I mean, we traveled throughout Southeast Asia all the time. And it was just talk about like interesting music in Japan. So I grew up, my dad is a piano player, also chemical patent attorney, but the brains are the same music. They say music and engineering kind of goes hand in hand. And my dad was a big Allman Brothers fan. So I was like Southern rock and also Beatles and, some hard rock in there and also throw in Heart. And so all these different kind of musical genres. And in Tokyo specifically, because we lived in the city, they had all these cool cover bands, and we went to go see an Allman Brothers cover band all the time, and they were incredible.
And were they Japanese?
They were Japanese. They didn't speak a word of English, but they were always singing, like Ramblin' Man, and they were literally singing like it was insane.
Oh my gosh, Statesboro Blues.
Just learn it phonetically, right?
Yeah. Midnight Rider. Ohayou gozaimasu. Konnichiwa. Literally like that.
But you've also played internationally in the Middle East and Africa, I read.
I had the incredible opportunity. It's one of my favorite places to perform. I did a military tour, and it was in the Middle East, in Bahrain, and then I went to Africa and Djibouti. I had the opportunity to go and hang out with some of the men and women overseas, and I can't tell you how crazy, like my mindset completely changed. Like I was always the kind of person that respected our military and so grateful for everyone that served, but and my grandfather served, but to go there and experience it, some of these soldiers, they don't get the opportunity to even leave base in 2 years. They just have to stay there because they are looking at intelligence. They are needed to make sure that keep the bad guys away. And so to be able to go there, and my job wasn't just to perform, it was to make friends, to boost morale. And so every time we went to lunch, it was like I would spend 10 minutes at one table and then I'd get up and spend 10 minutes at another table, and just to kind of meet everybody. And we're all still friends. Like I talk to some of the girls and guys on Instagram still, and we keep up. It's pretty incredible.
Well, in the short time she's been here, You can tell you're a morale booster, girl.
Absolutely. Well, this is an iconic radio station.
It is. We're very proud of it. Almost 100 years now.
This is the genesis. I mean, what, 1925 is when it first went on the air?
Yeah.
And to think, I mean, this was like the radio station. They had so much money behind it, right? They had the Craig family.
Yes.
And they just put so much money, which was very different than any other radio stations at the time. So there was like swanky, like curtains. And I mean, I love the history of this place.
Well, National Life and Accident Insurance Company, you mentioned the Craig family. They
Yes.
had a son who wasn't particularly interested in insurance, but had
Right.
an interest in this new thing called radio. And it's like, well, if you just go be happy, we'll find you a radio station. So that's the paraphrased version of how the radio station started in October of 1925. But they quickly realized that through broadcasting, there was advertising.
Yes.
And you could sell life insurance on the radio.
It was incredible.
And so the penny policy was born.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And just the history of that, I mean, being able to sit here, this is WSM radio. I mean, this is the pinnacle. This is why country music exists in Nashville. As soon as people were listening to this station, and it's so interesting to me because I was just reading the history about how the Opry had like the barn dancing. So what I know in Virginia, we used to call it barn dancing or square dancing. We didn't call it line dancing. And that also stemmed from Chicago. So they were trying to copy those
'cause
Chicago
that's
radio stations.
Solomon Judge, he was a newspaperman in Chicago and came here to start what we know as WSM, and then subsequent to that, the barn dance that became in name the Grand Ole Opry a couple of years after we went on the air.
And literally brought everyone here. I mean, labels, publishers, artists.
Listen, in the slot that we were on, I don't know exactly what time they were on, but Hank Williams and the Drifting Cowboys used to do mornings here, a segment on the morning show. Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs. And this is the date, we were looking at it earlier, 75 years ago, that 25-year-old Hank Williams debuted at the Grand Ole Opry to 6 standing ovations.
Doesn't
So
it just give you chills? Like,
it
it's
does. It
incredible
never gets
history.
old. Never gets old. So, hey, we're going to feature Good Morning, Mourning. How do you say that in Japanese?
Ohayo gozaimasu.
Now, you actually could have just said, "Shut up, Bill," and we would not have known the difference. But we'll take it for granted. You know what you were saying.
That's right. This is such a cool song idea because it's basically saying goodbye to the old me, right?
That is exactly what it's saying, Kelly. It is all about saying goodbye to the old me, laying her to rest, and then inviting everyone to the funeral and having one big old party.
I love it.
Here we go. All over the world. It's Dani Rose on Coffee, Country, and Cody.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
And we continue with Dani Rose this morning. She's picked up her guitar during the break. Talk about TikTok in your life before you sing for us.
TikTok has been such an incredible tool to just skyrocket some of my songs and some of my music. It's also rotted my brain. So, we have both ends of the spectrum.
So it's like a Twinkie.
Yeah, tastes really good. Terrible for your insides.
Yeah. Well, there were
somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.3 billion with a B streams on TikTok for the song you're going to do here in a minute.
It's pretty incredible. I mean, this song resonated with so many people. Maybe 1,000 people every day use it to generate their own user content.
Yeah,
They'll
like
do-
1 million people have used it to do their own videos for TikTok.
Yeah, and it's even
Yeah.
more than that because every day it's more people and more people and more people.
Wow.
People just find the song and it just continues to circulate and go viral.
There's only 7 billion people in the world. It's like 1 out of every 5 people has seen this.
It's pretty
Everywhere,
crazy.
in the world.
Like,
It's
in the world,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
realize some people have seen it more than once. But I mean,
I
it's
think
it's a crazy number.
Well, there's some fanatics out there that have
Yeah.
listen, like 10,000, like
Yeah.
my mother,
Yeah.
like she's nuts. So she has it on repeat.
That's part of the gig.
Okay,
though.
question.
That's part of the gig.
Does she ever do have you heard my song that my daughter wrote about me?
All the
because
time.
it has to become it's her song.
Oh, it's her
now.
song.
For sure.
She literally goes out to my shows. If she's there, like a festival or whatever, she'll walk around the audience and say, "Hi, I'm Dani's mom." And they're like, "Okay." And she's like, the song?
It's about
It's me.
And what's your mother's name?
Robin.
Robin.
I love this.
Oh yeah, she does it all the time. And when her friends and stuff, they'll be like, "Isn't it incredible that you have your song?" She's like, "Yeah, it's okay." And I'm like, "Mom."
Come on.
Diva. There's a song for Robin, wherever she is watching, listening this morning. Dani Rose's mom got it from her mama, and I'm thinking about Jennifer Vickery Smith, who's a colleague and friend and fills in for Kelly doing entertainment, who has a podcast called "I Got It From My Mama."
We actually met at the ACM.
Oh, good.
We were on the carpet
Connor
together.
Smith's mama. Mm-hmm.
That's right. We were on the carpet together. My publicist was like, "Hey, your podcast." My girl, y'all need to meet.
Yes. That's so perfect. And you wrote that with Kaylee Shore?
I did. I wrote it with Kaylee Shore.
I
Hillary
miss
Reynolds.
her. She is such a bright light and was such a huge part of Song Suffragettes for years.
Yeah.
That's where I met her years ago, and she's in LA now and just killing it. So.
We've written so many songs together. I mean, out of the 3 of the 4 songs that I've had on Yellowstone, she's written 3 with me. So
Well, you transitioned into where I wanted to go next.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hollywood and the
I hear
movies.
I see where you're going. I knew. Mm-hmm.
So, how did Yellowstone come into your life? Or did you come into theirs?
So she has become a really good friend. She's become one of my best friends. But at first, I met a woman at a birthday party in LA years ago. And we just started talking about dogs. I didn't know I figured she was in the music industry, but we were just kind of tired and we started chatting and we kept in touch. And it turns out she was a music supervisor. And so we started chatting. She said, "Hey, I need some country music. Can you send me some of your music?" I was like, "Sure." Whatever. I didn't hear anything for maybe 3 years. And then 3 years later, she reaches out to me and says, "Hey, I'm doing a show. It's a brand new one with Kevin Costner called Yellowstone. And I think your music would be perfect for it." And I said, "Great." She's like, "Send me some new stuff, but I'm going to take the 2 that you sent me 3 years ago, and I'm going to put it now that this season is really getting going and taking off, because nobody knew what it was season 1.
Right.
She's like, "Now that the season is getting somewhere, I'm going to take 2 of your songs and I'm going to put them in season 2. And I was like, "Sure, whatever." I was like, Kevin Costner, like my mom's like love of her life. Absolutely. Like no problem. So she put it in there, and then next thing I know, like Yellowstone starts blowing up and people are coming to me and being like, "How'd you get 2 songs in Yellowstone?" And I was like, "I don't know."
I talked about dogs
I
at
talked
a party.
about dogs. I have no idea. I just have this really crazy, strange like ability to like meet. I don't know what it is, but like there's some sort of serendipity where like I just meet music supervisors or somebody. Like talk about like divine intervention. Like literally, it just kind of comes into your life, and you are where you're supposed to be exactly at the right time. You can't mess it up, even if you try, because I try all the time.
It's the it factor.
It's the it factor, and it just happened. So she has been a wonderful person. We actually didn't meet in person until she placed my song in season 4, and that was Chess. And that's when we actually met in person, and we became friends after that.
From the Yellowstone catalog, in studio this morning on WSM Radio and our Circle streaming platform, circlecountry.com, Dani Rose and Chess. And you're doing Americana Fest in conjunction with Yellowstone in September, are you not? What's that all about?
It's going to be really exciting. We're going to be talking all about how the songs were written and what they were written about, and then how they kind of fit in. Andrea Von Forster, who's a supervisor, she's very particular about how she's going to fit in different things, different themes. So as I was talking, kind of telling the story about a bar fight, this song Chess is about a bar fight, and that's exactly what you see that's happening on TV. But the funny thing is, the song was written about a girl bar fight, not a guy bar fight. People don't know that.
That's okay. Liberties. Congratulations on everything. Thanks for coming in.
So we are leaving the historic Magnolia Lobby studio here at Gaylord Opryland after 40 years to our new studio home. 40 years ago, Mr. Acuff moved into his home, his residence on the Opry Plaza there, and that will become the new home of WSM Radio and Circle Country.
Yay!
All over the world, state of the art, and it looks exactly like it did when he was there. On the outside.
On the
On the inside, it looks nothing like it did when
Would
Mr.
you like to
Acuff was
see what it looks like on the inside?
And you're getting a little preview of what's going on over there, including construction.
Yes.
Right up until we move in, I think.
This is the
our
coolest.
deadlines.
Here's the thing that I love the most about this. Our history at WSM connected to the Grand Ole Opry, and now we are physically connected to the Grand Ole Opry building. So we are going to have this incredible facility. You're seeing video right now for the first time, a sneak peek of our brand new state-of-the-art, gorgeous WSM studio. And you're going to be able to see that on part of the tour as well.
By the way, that protective paper does come up before we move in, just so you guys know.
Are we sure?
Yeah, good.
Maybe it's, you know how they left the plastic on the couch when you go to grandma's house? Maybe we need to leave it down a little bit longer.
Because some beautiful wood floors underneath there.
Oh, it's
And
gorgeous.
One of the great things about that, Mildred, his wife, Mr. Acuff's wife, passed away in 81. String Bean had died, murdered, he and Estelle, in 1973. And that had been on a lot of the Opry stars, some of the older members of the Opry's minds, when they would drive home at night and like, what was that all about? And very disturbing. And then he and Mildred lived in Inglewood. And then when she passed in 81, ultimately they decided, you know what, Mr. Acuff, we're going to build you a house right here at the Grand Ole Opry as the 40-year ambassador and face of the Grand Ole Opry.
Sure.
And he was known to leave the house and go over to the Opry on show dates because he worked a lot of matinee shows in those days. And it was not uncommon to see him getting the coffee ready, to see him stocking the soda machine and doing things like that.
Oh, this is a house. This is my property. I'm
Before
here.
He was having a party and he wanted to make sure everybody had supplies.
Across,
He was ready.
and it was so convenient.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. And one of the reasons that when Porter took that role as ambassador, when Mr. Acuff passed, well, he lived just across Briley Parkway from the Opry House, and he said the convenience made all the difference. And particularly when you think about the days of Opryland, the theme park,
Sure.
Opryland USA, how convenient that was.
Well, we are super excited about the big announcement. Brand new home for us here at WSM that is absolutely connected to the Opry and to everything that we can offer people. A brand new studio, a brand new space, and it's exciting.
And it's so nostalgic for me because my parents would always come to Opryland, the theme park. And I have a great photo of them in front of the Acuff house at Mr. Acuff's mailbox that said Acuff. So it's so cool to be able to say that's our new home.
We're doing it, y'all.
Yeah.
We
And-
got to pack. We got a lot of stuff around here. We got to go.
And for me, the great connection was having known both Roy and Minnie.
That's right.
And getting to know them in the latter years of their lives.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Shelly Fairchild is here. We haven't stopped smiling since she walked in the door. Headed to the Grand Ole Opry House tomorrow. And so today, she is doing a make good for.
Oh,
Why don't you tell the
You're
backstory?
about to tell the
No,
people.
just tell the backstory on
You're
what
telling
happened
me.
yesterday
Tell
because
the
it has
people. I
it
was
has
a
happened to
delinquent.
us all.
I was a delinquent, all right. The story is that I was supposed to be here yesterday morning. Yesterday morning, not today morning.
At this time.
At this time, and I woke up. I slept through my alarm, and I woke up at 5 minutes till 9. Or like, I think, because that's when and then I was like, I think I'm supposed to be somewhere because I didn't have it on my alarm. If you have ADHD and you don't put it in the little subject note, what you're doing, you're never going to remember ever. Anyways, I woke up and it was like 5 minutes till, and I was like, I know I'm supposed to be somewhere. So I was looking through my emails, saw Annie's email, and saw your email, Charlie. I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I'm supposed to do. So I texted.
No, you called.
I called.
And I thought for sure it's like you just need help parking. Like, where do I park? This is so confusing.
Charlie,
and
see,
it's
this
like,
is making it
no.
so sad.
And
Even
then
more.
Charlie put you on speakerphone, and we could hear you screaming.
I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Kelly and I over here cracking up,
Y'all.
making fun of you.
No, I hit my knees. I was like, I am worthless. I can't do anything right.
There's this incredible video of these like two 4 and 5 year old boys who somehow got on their mom's cell phone and ordered an 86-inch television from Amazon, and it got delivered. And all you could hear them say is, she goes, "Boys, how did this happen?" And then, "We're so sorry, boys. We're so sorry."
That was me.
But can we keep it? It's fine. You're
So,
here.
anyways, I'm sorry
You're
to
here.
the people, and mainly to you, because I love all three of you so dearly.
Hey, you have the Grand Ole Opry at 7 p.m. tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
I'll put it in her
curtain.
phone before she leaves.
I know.
Please.
Jason Carter of Del McCurry fame. We just heard Del with Sam Bush and Ricky Skaggs and Roll On Buddy. A Grand Ole Opry star Connie Smith, T. Graham Brown, Gary Mule Deer.
We've gone to the bullpen. Wendy Moten will be
Oh,
pinch
okay.
hitting for Connie Smith.
But 49 Winchester and Chip
49
Heston.
Yep, Chip Heston,
Yeah.
T. Graham Brown,
Tomorrow
Charles
night.
Heston, and
Yeah.
Dallas Smith's going to make his Opry debut. He came with us, visited with us for the first time last
Wendy's
October.
going to be
so-
there. You get to hang out with Wendy.
That's my best friend.
I was going to say, you guys are BFFs.
Yeah, but I didn't know she was going to be there, so I guess we're not that best of friends.
She might not know. We need to call her and let her know, too.
We need to set her alarm.
Your hometown is Clinton, Mississippi, and there's
It
a
is.
really odd small world connection to Charlie Mattos' family.
I think the last time we worked an Opry show together, I popped in the dressing room and said, "Hey, I'm heading to Clinton, Mississippi next weekend." And you said, "Why?"
Why?
And I said, "Well, I thought the same myself. But no, my nephew went to Mississippi College and graduated last May. So
Which is so
cool.
nice. That is a really nice college. Most of my family members went to school there. I went to school there a couple of years.
Yeah. And
Then I headed here.
crazy close to Jackson.
Very
Yeah,
close to
yeah,
Jackson. Yeah, literally like 7 minutes from Jackson.
Oh, wow.
So you headed here 19?
I actually turned I turned 20 and then I packed my car up. I did always Patsy Cline at a professional theater in Jackson, Mississippi, and I saved my money. It was the first time I'd ever made like $700 a week or whatever it was. And I saved my money from that and moved here right after I turned 20. So that has been a minute ago, Bill.
What car did you come in?
A 92 Toyota Corolla, a white one. I drove that thing into the ground. I signed a record deal and literally would drive up in the parking lot in the 92 Toyota Corolla, like a tiny little car. And I was like, I'm proud of this little jalopy.
That's right. Well,
you.
when you sign the record deal, though, you also know what goes along with it. So you're like,
Yeah.
I need to
You're
hold
like,
on to
I'm
this.
going to hold on to this car. It's paid for.
Yeah,
It's
that's
great.
right.
We're good here.
Man, I remember meeting you back in the day. Amber Dotson and I were like besties, and you guys all came out at the same time. I remember standing in the parking lot. It was across from Nissan Stadium. I forgot what that little bar was. That was like directly across
Limelight.
from Limelight.
Was that Van Zant?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
You did a
That's when-
show, and you guys were standing on the roof of Limelight. I think
something like that.
performed,
I don't-
And we were in the
Yes.
parking lot watching, and you were there with Van Zant, and I'm like, oh
I
my
ripped
God.
my jeans.
She's
like
my
a
favorite
whole-
singer ever. Yes.
That's so sweet.
I got your CD and just played it out.
Kelly.
I told you that.
I know,
you
but
know I
it's
love
just-
you.
I know.
It's just fun to see and remember those moments in time.
I know.
So what was happening in your head right then? You're like, I'm playing with Van Zandt.
Well, it was interesting because they were on Sony at the time as
Yeah.
well, and we were working records at the same time. And so my stomach hurt like every time I'd run into them at an event because they were on the country side of things then. And so they weren't used to that. They're rock stars like coming in. And so they're like, hi, it's so nice to meet you. I'm like, wait, what? No, this is not real. So it just was always very surreal to me. I just wasn't ever kind of in my body. I was always floating around that time.
Well, you mentioned you had performed as Patsy Cline back home in Mississippi. When you got to, who were your girl, and for that matter, guy music heroes, and who were the first ones you met when you got here?
Oh, wow. Well, Becca Bramlett was one.
Ooh, yeah.
So I got to meet Becca Bramlett pretty soon after I moved here, and I was I had no words because if I spoke, it would have been absolutely ridiculous. And, I was just always a big fan of, I grew up in the Martina era of country music. So Trisha Yearwood and Martina and Faith. And so when I met Becca, I was like, oh my gosh, she's been touring with Faith Hill. And I knew how to sing background vocals and everything. And so it was just kind of looking at the whole scope of thing. Like, I don't know where I'm going to land in this town or how I'm going to do music for a living, but that's all I've ever wanted to do. And so I soaked it up anytime I got a chance to see anybody play at the Bluebird or anything like that. So it was really interesting that I then got to sing backgrounds with Martina on the road, however many years later, like just, kind of that manifesting thing where you're like, oh my gosh, you focus on something for so long and it's,
Because that's where I remember you and Wendy doing background
Yes,
vocals.
we were on the road with Martina.
What was the album that she did?
It was
like an R&B covers thing?
Yeah, it was the record that she did with Don Was, Everlasting.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
And I remember you guys coming and doing that at the Opry. It's still one of my favorite Opry
There were
memories.
three of us, Chandra Bennett, me, Wendy Moten. So and she had a whole horn section, and we
Yes,
toured
she
like
did.
that. We were supposed to do like 6 shows or something. Well, we toured for like over 2 years on that record. And I wore like this blue dress. I looked a little like a blueberry. It's fine.
So you talked about your record deal. Who helped you get your record deal?
Well, it's funny because at the time people were all doing showcases, and I went around with a guitar to labels and just to their offices, and so that was kind of like an old school kind of way to do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know any differently because I'd never really recorded or anything like that before. I'd never been in the studio, and so I went with my guitar player, and we played for all the different labels and got a few offers and ended up going with Sony. My manager at the time, I'd known him since I was a little kid, and he was managing Little Big Town and some other artists. And he was like, we've got a relationship over at Sony. Let's go over there first. And so we went there, and that's where I ended up.
Shelly Fairchild in studio this morning, and to follow up on that story and those humble beginnings that she described in a 92 Toyota Corolla. She has since written for Little Big Town, Tanya Tucker, Ty Herndon, Emily West. She's toured with Martina McBride, Keith Urban. Kelly's got a big-time Keith Urban crush. I don't know if she's talked to you
really
about
good.
it.
He does. He looks like he smells good.
Rascal Flatts. Backing vocals for Jason Aldean, Eric Church, Tanya, Trace Adkins, Ty Herndon, Terry Clark, and so many more. Terry Clark's got the new Take Two, the Duets project.
Y'all,
That's incredible.
She is one of my great, great friends, and I'm so happy for her. She's so talented. It's like, it's another moment to shine for her. You know what I'm saying? Like she's been touring her whole career. She had her time in the 90s and everything, and then the early 2000s, and then it's like, come back, Terry Clark, where are you? And then coming out like this with this record. Yeah. It's like popping them in the face.
I'm actually pulling a cut as my pick of the week from that album this week.
Okay.
I think I know which
the
one.
Ben Rector cut.
Oh, okay. This is really cool. I want to talk about the Carrie Underwood performance because you haven't seen this video or pictures yet, and I have to let people see this. Playing in the rain is one of those things. If you're used to doing outside performances, it's probably going to happen at some point. It can either completely destroy your set, or it can make for a memory you will never forget. And that's what happened. So Carrie Underwood closing out Carolina Country Fest. This video is epic. It is pouring down on her. It's not a little bit of rain. It is a torrential downpour. And she's singing. Everyone else is screaming the words before he cheats. Look at that. And the spotlight's on her. And man, oh man, that video is going to last forever. And it was perfect the entire day. They had no rain at all.
Oh, no kidding.
Just not even one shower. And it was the very end. I mean, I think this was either the last song or second to last song, and it just opened up.
It looks like a special effect.
It looks like a movie.
Yeah.
Well, I had all these social media pop-ups yesterday saying that she took a fall.
Well, she was leaving when she was leaving the stage. Like, she was rocking it. Everything was great. At the very end, when she was going off of the back of the stage, she I think slipped on a step. And so they acted like I was like, she didn't fall, y'all. She was on stage rocking it in 6-inch heels and pouring down rain. And as she was walking off the back, she slipped a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but she's fine.
Somebody was just intentionally trying to go viral.
We call that clickbait. And we don't do that
I didn't
here.
click. I just looked.
Yeah, I know.
I said, what's that all about?
But yeah, she absolutely rocked it. And kudos to Jeff Johnson. He is her photographer and videographer and follows her everywhere. And he even posted these pictures that are like black and white and rain, and her hair is wet, and she just looks like a rock star, like that right there, right? And he said, I may have ruined some of my camera equipment, but it was worth it.
Film noir.
It is gorgeous. So congrats, Carrie, and everyone else at Carolina Country Fest that got to witness that, because that was really, really special. All right, CMA Fest, let's speak about that. It is over. It is done. We put a bow on it. We're ready until next year. It's a big deal for not only the fans, but the artists that come year after year. And you have to wonder, for artists that have been here for many years, does it still hold the same place in their heart? Do they still love it? Here's what Matt Ramsey had to say from Old Dominion.
This is what we do all of this for. CMA Fest is, all the fans, and they're coming here for what they love, which is country music, and we're so happy to be a part of it. No special guests. There's enough of us on stage.
Our drummer's going to be there again, which is crazy.
Yeah. You never know.
Keep showing up.
They were talking about Whit Sellers, their drummer. He doesn't do any of the interviews with them anymore, but he's always there when they perform. But yeah, a lot of special guests had popped out from time to time. Big and Rich came out at one point with Hardy and did Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. We had Gretchen Wilson open up the stage the night that I was there hosting. All of it is going to be put together in a big old performance you can watch on the 25th. So June 25th on ABC. That's going to be the recap in case you weren't there and you feel like you've got some FOMO. You can watch, and then you will feel like you were right in the middle of all of it. Okay, Little Big Town, they have the greatest hits coming out. It is 25 years of Little Big Town, if you can believe that, which is kind of crazy because I think, wow. I mean, parallel, I have been here 3 years. So they were just getting started right when I moved to town. So I feel very connected to them. They're one of those groups that I kind of grew up with in the industry. And they're going to put out their greatest hits album. It's coming out August the 9th. It's 12 tracks. They've got Pontoon and Better Man on there. But then they also have a duet rendition of Little White Church with Miranda Lambert, which is epic. And they have Kelsey Ballerini joining them on Shut Up Train, which was kind of an album cut. But Kelsey told them, it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite songs. So that's going to be coming out very, very soon. They're also out on tour with Sugarland. So 20 years for Sugarland, 25 for Little Big Town, Take Me Home tour. You can find it all on their website, littlebigtown.com. And last but not least, congratulations to the Toby Keith Foundation. They had their annual Toby Keith and Friends Golf Classic. It took place on May 31st and June 1st. They raised $3.1 million for the Toby Keith Foundation and OK Kids Corral, which is just remarkable. It's been $20 million since its inception in 2006. OK Kids Corral is basically kind of like Ronald McDonald House for kids that are going through treatment in Oklahoma City. Parents can stay there for free, and they never have to worry about paying a bill. So congrats to everybody that put that together.
Kelly Sutton Entertainment. In just a few hours, she'll be there when the big red curtain goes up at 7 tonight on the Opry, Tuesday night Opry with Drew Baldridge, Priscilla Block, Gary Muledeer, Travis Denning, Sierra Hull, Kim Ritchie, Riders in the Sky, and Don Schlitz. Don Schlitz, are you listening? Stacy, are you listening? 2 years ago today, Vince Gill invited Charlie McCoy and Don Schlitz to become members of the Grand Ole Opry. It was in July, on the 13th of July, that Larry Gatlin inducted Charlie McCoy, and then followed in August 30th, by Vince Gill and Randy Travis inducting Don Schlitz, who will be there tonight to celebrate his second birthday at the Opry as a member, also a member of the Songwriters Hall of Fame and the Country Music Hall of Fame. Hey, we're back to wrap it up and say goodbye. As we were talking earlier, if you missed it, we will be saying goodbye at the end of next week to our studio home here in the Magnolia lobby as we head to the historic Acuff House. 40 years, my goodness, a lot of anniversaries. Acuff House in 84, so it'll be 40 years. 50 years for the Grand Ole Opry House from our move from the Mother Church, the Ryman Auditorium in 1974. And now we're moving from here, where we've been for 40 years, roughly 40 years, to the Roy Acuff residence there. An all-new state-of-the-art studio for radio and television. And that'll be first part of July when we actually make that transition and move in.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
We love that. And tonight on the Opry, Drew Baldridge, Priscilla Block, Gary Muledeer, Travis Denning, Riders in the Sky, Don Schlitz, Kim Ritchie, and Sierra Hull. What a show.
And continue with us as we wrap up on television, WSM Radio at 6:50 a.m. or WSMradio.com with the great Shelly Fairchild.